one of the key elements to getting what you desire and fulfilling the purpose that God has over you is to not only pray, right? That's important, but to not lose heart, to be persistent in what it is that you want, to be persistent. And time again, we see this throughout ages, where men and women who made a difference in other people's lives, made a difference in society, made a difference in the world, they were persistent, and they didn't take a no for an answer. They didn't take rejection as an answer. They didn't take disappointment as an answer. They didn't take, people not validating them or hurting them or whatever the case may be. They continue to press through and press on, even in spite of the obstacles or challenges that they confronted. Persistent is a powerful thing. Persistent in prayer, persistent in moving your organization forward, persistent in integrity, persistent in leadership, persistent in finding a way where there is no way. You can throw your hands up in the air and say, well, I can't afford it, or well, I don't have the resources, or well, I don't have the support, or well, I never had the education, or whatever the case may be. But persistence will get you what it is that you want. And I remember when I was trying to become a Secret Service officer, and I was trying for a long time. As a matter of fact, after high school, I had a few things that I wanted to do. I wanted to speak, I wanted to preach, I wanted to write books, I wanted to start a company, I wanted to be a police officer. And those were just some of the few things that I wanted to do, and I wanted to do some more things, but one of them was to be a police officer. And I remember after high school, I took the test, and I didn't score high enough on the list. But although that was discouraging, I took it again. And the second time around, I made it, which I had to wait another 2 years, but I was persistent. This is something that I wanted to do, and I scored high enough on the list, made it into the academy. First day of the academy, I was doing the push-ups, I was doing the sit-ups, I was doing the training, we were getting yelled at and all these sorts of things that you see on TV. And in the middle of a push-up, I get called by one of the captains and said, "Recruit Vargas, come with me. Unfortunately, you're not able to continue because the doctor found a medical condition in your heart. You would have to get it resolved in order for you to continue, and then you can reapply." I mean, that was a crusher. That was just a blow to the gut. And it was years and years and years of waiting and years of trying. And then one day I decided to apply for the Secret Service. After I got the surgery done, everything was well, and I didn't think anything of it. I mean, I don't have a college, degree and none of that stuff. And people were, "Oh, you're not gonna get that, and you need every place they tell you need a college degree." But guess what? I was persistent. I knew what I wanted. And when I said, well, either they're going to get tired of me or I'm going to continue to try until. Tried the first time, made it all the way through. Agents came to my house, got interviewed. I couldn't believe it. And then there was a government shutdown. I mean, this was years in the making. And disappointed, and I just kept moving forward. I was persistence. And the second time around, they lost all my information. Something happened. They didn't want to admit it. I found out later on. Second time around, again, years, nothing. And then years later, I tried again the third time. And this time, I made it. And I lived my dream because I was persistent. And I really do believe that I was persistent, not just in applying, right? But I was persistent in my character development. I was persistent in my growth development throughout the years. I was persistent in training my body throughout the years, my mind throughout the years. So when the opportunity came, I was ready. I was fit. I was ready to go. And I was persistent in prayer. I was persistent in the things that I believe God created me to do. And I really do believe that he assigns different seasons and times for you to do certain things. Everything is not forever. And so I did that, and I was able to do it, but it was this principle of persistence. And so I want to ask you, what are you being persistent about? Are you praying for something? Are you hoping for something? Are you building something? And even when you don't see the progress that you want to see, that is when you need to kick in persistence. Now, yes, you need to make sure that you have advisors around you and people around you, a coach, right? Someone, a mentor, someone who can guide you and save you some time. That's what a coach is, right? Because you want to make sure that you're doing the right things in your persistence. But the point is, if you're having the right people around you, if you're continuing to grow, if you're continuing to develop, if you're continuing to do the things that you can do, and then moving forward, that's persistence. We can't throw our hands in the air every time we don't get what we want and say, well, it's not God's will. Sometimes God's will is to build your character. Sometimes God's will is to build your persistence. Sometimes God's will is to build your faith. And he does that through these obstacles that comes along the way. One of the greatest theologians of all times said that when God gets ready to give us a gift, he wraps it up in a problem. And isn't that true? Because unwrapping it is what makes us who we are. Unwrapping it is what makes us better. Unwrapping it is what makes us the man and the woman that we were called and created to be. So my hope and my message to you today, that whatever it is that you are going after, you have to be persistent if you want to see it manifest in your life. You have to be persistent. Get the right coach, get the right information, get the right help. Continue to focus, continue to pray. Don't lose heart. And one day you will get what you want. Listen, there's a powerful story of this. If you want to reference it, it's in Luke chapter 18, verse 1 through 9. And I'll leave you with that. All right. Thank you. Have a great day.